Thank you so much, Avanti and Leo. Really happy to be here with you. Thank you for skipping the lunch or lunching with me. The idea is to really share with you what's happening right now with AI, generative AI, physical AI, quite a lot, to be frank. My name is Emmanuel Vivier. I'm the co-founder of the AI Institute. After 10 years in Luxembourg, I moved back to Paris, but we travel quite a lot. I think when we are looking at trends and innovation, you have to go to Silicon Valley, you have to go to Asia, Seoul, Shanghai, but even in the Middle East, quite a lot of things are changing, evolving pretty fast. There are differences, of course, but we can feel that there is a huge wave. We had digital, we had e-commerce. Now it's all about AI and generative AI. I'm tracking every 2 weeks on my newsletter on LinkedIn, what's up, what's next. Now it's nearly 200 news every 2 weeks, so it's a bit crazy. But the good news is I've summarized everything for you in this keynote. So it's 2.5 years now that ChatGPT has been launched. And you have seen it's highly popular, more than 800 million users per week now. So it's pretty insane. And of course, there is Copilot, there is Gemini, there is Claude, there is Mistral, there is so many other tools. If we look at ChatGPT, the growth is really accelerating. So maybe thanks to the Ghibli images effect that a lot have been entertained with. And even in terms of revenue, it's kind of crazy. It's now more than $10 billion revenue. So of course they still are spending even more in R&D, and thanks to Microsoft financing and raising even more money. So I'm not saying they are profitable, but the speed of adoption, the speed of usage is insane. And I'm sure you have barely seen no advertising for ChatGPT on OpenAI. They did one for Super Bowl, but outside of that, we can feel there is really something happening when that many people are joining the platform, using the platform, changing the way they study, they learn, they work by leveraging it. Okay, so there is really an arms race. If you look at the investing in AI from, of course, Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, from the governments, from the European Union, from all the companies, it's quite, I would say, shocking. Stargate in the US is more than 500 billion investment, not from the US government. Remember Trump on the Art of Deal. It's mostly from Oracle, OpenAI, even SoftBank, the mobile company in Japan, and even from the Emirates, because they feel if you don't invest enough, if you lose your leadership on AI, you will lose your leadership on what? Defense, economy, health, and basically the next wave of innovation for the 10 coming years. If you look at startups, it has been way harder to raise money for the past 2 years. There is no more free money. But if you are in the AI field, it's still way easier, and you can still raise way more money, especially if you are in Silicon Valley, where instead of raising maybe 10, 100 million like we do in Europe, they can raise 2 billion, 4 billion, if you look at Claude Anthropic, for example. And even Elon Musk is accelerating back about AI. Remember, he was part of OpenAI at the beginning, but there are some issues around profitability, and now he has relaunched XAI that has purchased Twitter again, that is fed by Twitter information. He has built the biggest hyperscaler data center in the world, and not in 5 years, but in 110 days. It's a bit crazy. And you can feel there is this huge competition. Of course, Google is back in the game with Gemini. And if you look, there is differences between the foundation model and the big player, but they are nearly all every week overachieving the competition. So they are more and more similar, from open source to China with DeepSeek, Gemini from Google, Grok from XAI Twitter, Qwen from Alibaba, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Mistral in France, AWS, everybody's fighting. There is so many innovation, so many new models every week. It's kind of insane. Each company is launching different ones, some for coding, some from images, some from text, some better in French or in English or in Luxembourgish, so it's quite a race. And of course, if we look globally, to be frank, it's still US leading, and especially Silicon Valley. When you look at the capability of investment from the funds there, or even from the Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon, those companies can invest 60, 80, 100 billion a year in funding data center, R&D, a new algorithm, new solution. Of course, in the East, Asia and China have been super pushy in the past 18 months. We have all heard about DeepSeek that has made quite something similar as ChatGPT, but with way, way, way less money. ChatGPT rose more than $60 billion already. DeepSeek say, okay, we leverage the open source and the existing code, but they supposedly only invested $6 million to launch DeepSeek. So it kind of really shows how we are bigger in the US, we're smarter in Europe or Asia. And of course, in Europe, it's really tough. Aleph Alpha nearly collapsed in Germany. We still have Mistral in France, 1 billion money raised. A few big companies like Thales, SOS Astra, Dassault Systèmes. But it's really hard to have B2C platform born in the EU or scale in the EU. I think for rising or starting startups, we are pretty much okay nowadays, thanks to the public support and generation of entrepreneurs. But as soon as it becomes a scale-up, we kind of feel that it's always the US investing or purchasing those startups again. Of course, I would say generative AI has improved a lot. Remember 2.5 years ago, ChatGPT was 2 years late on the news. It was hallucinating quite a lot. It was only able to deal with text. Now it can deal with images and code and numbers and photos and videos and audio, sometimes using different type of algorithm under. But it really makes those tools more and more powerful, more and more multimodal, and more capable. If you look on the features, you can analyze an image or document. Let's say you have a financial statement from a big company in another language. It takes 30 seconds to have an analyze from this document, so it's really saving time. Live videos, data, code syncing, access to the web research, computer use, so we can really feel that this generative AI is becoming smarter and smarter, making us able to perform or execute way more things in a way more efficient manner. You can, for example, create audio if you want to create voices, subtitling, translating, especially in Luxembourg where there is so many languages used. I'm still not that good on Luxembourgish with Moyen and Adi. Here, suddenly, I can translate things really easily, and it's super cool. It will change the way we create audiobooks, entertainment, translation, so many possibilities behind that. There is so many tools around text to images. We have identified more than 120 of them, so sorry, it looks a bit painful to look at, but if you want to design e-commerce visuals, if you want to design banner ads, if you want to retouch photos, if you want to do images for real estate, jewelry, fashion, there is different tools now for so many different types of visuals that will really save you time to create, improve, retouch images at scale. One of the big news was last summer. Basically, the Flux open source technology has been included in many platforms. And what does it make you able to do? You can train with a LoRa visuals from your existing product. Let's say you have a logo, you have a product, you have a person. Take 3, 4, 5 reference pictures, train a LoRa in a few minutes. Here is with C-Lab, but in Luxembourg you have Let's.ai, which is an amazing platform too. And you can generate as many new visuals with the exact product instead of shooting it for real. So you are really saving on money, saving on time, and you can really control your prompt, not only with text, but with reference images. And we see more and more brands using those technology for real. For example, you know Mongo, one of the latest e-commerce website page is showcasing this yoga pants and outfit. This model doesn't exist. It has been all AI generated. You see the same model in different posture, in different positions, so I can have character consistency. I have trained LoRa with this, not me, but they have trained LoRa with an images that could have been AI generated. They had basic picture from the outfit, and now they can put those outfits on this model in different posture. So just imagine the cost of shooting all those fashion photos for retail and e-commerce. Suddenly, it's way easier. You need different version because maybe you want to sell to Germans and Luxembourgish and Portuguese. You can change the shape or the face of the models to better suit your customers. So it really makes you more flexible, more creative, more agile. And not every brand has jump, but it will happen. And you see these images has been generated by AI, very small mention. So beware to regulation from one country to another. Sometimes you have to say, sometimes maybe ethically it's better to say. But it's really interesting. If you look at L'Oréal, for example, they have allowed their marketing teams to use generative AI, but never to represent faces or part of the body. Because they feel we could do it legally and technically, but ethically, if we start to have fake people on our product packaging, it's probably not a good idea for trust. So it's not always because you can do it technically that you should do it. Be mindful, be respectful, be transparent. I think even if legally sometimes you are not obliged to, it's better. This is Coca-Cola, for example. They are using another technology called Grip, which is more 3D and AI mixed together. And if you need to create visual, packaging, advertising, and so on, you could, so I don't know if the video is playing, but you could replace every product in an image, but with the exact perfect visual of the product and not something that is a bit the same, but not. So, of course, you have been to ChatGPT and you have realized since 2 months we can create crazily good images now. So, for example, I could just say in a prompt, I want a product, this is my reference image. I want a product hero white background, a product in use, a product benefits, benefits of products, product testimonial, and it will generate all those images for you. So you could feel those models starting with Midjourney in the past, are really improving quite a lot, are super easy to use. So the difference in the future might not be technology, but you. You have to be more creative with the same tools, since all those tools will be available to everyone. You could be so creative that you can create fake expense receipt now in ChatGPT images, and so they had to fix some accounting software because suddenly people could really create very good-looking fake expense receipts, and so you see everything is improving, creating new opportunity and new issues at the same time. So of course we need a bit of regulation, a bit of governance to avoid deepfakes and abuse from those. But of course, like every technology, there is a good guy and the bad guy at the same time. You can transfer the style from one picture to another. So this is magnific, but you could do it with ChatGPT images too, or Let's.ai, for example. So let's see, here it's a Sephora shop. I took a picture, add the reference images. I love this style and say, what will happen if my shop will look like this style? And just in a few seconds, it will transfer the style of the second picture on the initial picture and help you understand how it looks. So for architectures, for interior design, for marketing, for retail, for merchandising, there is so many possibilities that will have taken days and quite a lot of money that suddenly you can do. And I'm not saying we will remove all the graphic designer or agencies. We still need experts knowing those tools, like a Photoshop master. But they will save time, they will deliver more for the same money and with less time. So that's a pretty good news. Of course, let's say you want to generate banners. banner ads, for social ads. There's so many new tools where you can just create one master and it will generate for you all the different size. Because sometimes you need a square, horizontal banner, a skyscraper, and so on. So all those things will make things easier. Brand deploy, for example, if you need to localize your visuals in different countries, you can give an access to a platform, and France can translate in French, and German in German, and they can only change exactly what you want and not the design. So you can keep track and keep, let's say, a brand identity, I will say, respected. Now that I have audio and images, I can generate videos. And it's kind of crazy. At the beginning, we had Runway and Luma and Kling and Minimax in China. Adobe Firefly is a bit late. Sora has made us dream a lot for 1 year, waiting for the launch. But as soon as they launched it, Google launched Google Veo 2, and now it's even Veo 3. And Google Veo 2 is insane. From a prompt, a text prompt, or for an images, you can generate a 5 to 8 seconds video that looks nearly real. Like all the physical, I would say, movement, gravity, move, water, everything is looking real. And one of the first brands that took a risk or took a chance is Coca-Cola. For last Christmas, they decided to turn their whole global TV ad for 40 different markets with 40 different versions of the ad. It took them only 3 weeks with a team, not one person, a team that generated quite a lot of features that had to generate everything. But this is the type of ads that could now be shown on TV. And we always say, yeah, but what about the copyright? What about the issue? Yes, there is a few constraints. You need to talk with your lawyers. But if Coca-Cola is doing it, come on, like, don't tell me it's not possible. And those tools are not only for the big brands. You can really afford to use some of them. It will cost you around 2 to 5 euros a minute. So it's really nothing compared to the production of a real movie. So here you see they have been able to generate, to retouch, to do the special effects. Suddenly you have freedom of creation. And I think for a market like Luxembourg, where of course the budget are a bit smaller than in the US, you can compete with the US now. Those tools are not super expensive. You just need to be curious, you need to experiment, you need to be creative, of course, because a tool is a tool. Photoshop doesn't do a campaign. Generative AI doesn't do a campaign. You need to have the right ideas, the right concepts. And finally, only the sounds was recorded with real humans. But they were able to really, design things. If in the future you want to personalize your campaign, you could make easily different versions. Maybe one with the Luxembourg castle in the back, and maybe one in Paris with the Eiffel Tower, with barely no extra money, just a bit of time. So suddenly it makes things way more efficient. And just think that your whole content workflow production will change in the future. You could create rules that follow your brand guidelines, your editorial guidelines. This is an example with Flora, for example. Here I will generate an outfit, a model, this model wearing the outfit, a location, the model with the outfit in the location, with a bag, wearing the bag, and turning this picture into a video. So suddenly, the whole production process is going to be way easier, and you can still control with the right prompts and the right references image your brand guidelines. So things are really becoming way easier to use. Another example with Kling, which is one of the top platforms, super easy. There is not only the prompt, there is a functionality that they are deploying to make it easier and faster to generate the right video. So for example, here, I put 2 pictures and a prompt, a car, a building, and this is what it's able to generate. So I can have movement, I can move my camera around, I can really think how I want to frame my video with different frames and while keeping the same character. I can create crazy images or videos that would have been really hard to do with special effects. And if we can have the sound for the video, I don't know if we can in the back. Would it be possible to get the sound of the video? Maybe, maybe not. But in this video, basically, it's funny AI-generated video where people say there is the prompt theory. We are only prompts, and we don't believe into it because it looks so real. And now in View 3, it even manages a voice. So you can say, this is a character, she's in a comedy club, this is what she's saying in any languages, and she will say it for you. So it looks real. So they say, we are not prompts, we are not prompts. And just thinking about when AI will realize it has been generated and it's not reality. And yes, suddenly you can see it looks cinematic, it looks like a news reportage, which is crazy for me that was in the advertising business for 10 years. At the same time, be very cautious because it means in terms of deepfakes that I can create any fake news, any fake videos from anyone saying anything. I'm not saying it's legal, but sometimes when it's online, it's not that easy. So you can see that the movement, the light, the depth of field, everything looks more and more real. And the beginning of video in GenAI was probably 1.5 years ago. So in 1.5 years ago, we moved something that was awful to nearly professional video. So it will continue to improve quite a lot. And I think the future for marketing won't be only to generate one picture on one video, it will be to create a whole campaign on brand, which means following your editorial identity, your visual identity, and there is already a few solutions. So Publicis is working on Core AI, it's not been launched yet. Brandtech has launched Pencil on Pencil Pro that could generate 200 visual assets following your prompts and your brief for different banners, different visuals, and so on. The WPP has launched WPP Open, Monks Flow, but not every agency, but more and more agencies will have to build a platform to help you scale your marketing. Because if they don't, in 2 years, you will move to your agency and say, okay, you have to deliver more for less, faster. If they don't have adopted the right tools, it's going to be really complicated for them to compete because some of those agencies will have really equipped themselves. So that's what happened in the past. What's coming next? What's happening now is the verticalization of AI. If you look at ChatGPT or Copilot, it was a bit like Office 2.0. Like, I have to translate, summarize, brainstorm. Everybody could use it in the company. But now let's imagine you are in legal, you are in IT, you are in marketing, you are in finance. You need additional specialized vertical tools because your job is not generalist one. It's something much more precise. You cannot really write a contract with OpenAI. You could have a few suggestions, but you are never sure it's totally up to date with regulation, for example. So you need to have additional tools, and this is what's happening. So at the beginning, we had Copilot, now ChatGPT Enterprise. If you want something secure, it's possible at ChatGPT 2. Or you could build your own, or you could use independent platform. We are really fan of Delos, for example, which I feel is a very good platform, and they have a tool to translate slides. So if you have to translate in German, in Luxembourgish, in English, Delos is really a cool platform for that, and it's secure. We had tools to summarize our meetings. So in Teams, I'm pretty fan of Nuta, but there is plenty of other ones. So every time I'm having a meeting, my Nuta assistant is joining. It will summarize the meeting. It will create a transcript with the next things to do and the summary and everything. I will even have the video of the meeting, so it's really helpful, saving me times. I don't know if you have seen, but now you can create slides. So there is Office Copilot PowerPoint 365. To be frank, not that efficient, but Gamma is really nice. And now you have even GenSpark and Manus that could generate analyst slides. It's AI agents. So you say, okay, make a presentation about the trends of insurance or banking in Luxembourg in 2013, and it will generate a first draft of the slides, and you can complete it afterwards. Present, it's more for big companies. When you want all your slides to look alike in your brand identity, you put your badly shaped presentation and it will all redesign to be exactly what you want to follow in terms of brand guidelines. Pageon is another one. So we will see more and more of those tools. Of course, after a while, probably a few will be purchased by Microsoft or some big companies. Some will collapse, some will merge. But we will have more tools every month. We will have more possibility, more capabilities to get assisted. And just remember that tools are only tools. Of course, it's great to have tools, but it's not because you buy tools for your team that everyone will use it. You need to train those people. You need to do change management. So always remember that technology is only a part of the budget, a part of the effort. You will need to be very selective of those tools, and when you want to deploy them, there will be effort, there will be quite a lot of things. And, people and processes, according to BCG, is nearly 70% of the effort. So URITs, they are used to technology, it would be fast to select the right tools, but then you need adoption and training to get those tools really mainstream within a company. I love this quote that says that basically for every dollar spent in tech, you need to spend 2 in people on change. So yes, I will say generative AI is pretty affordable for many of the SaaS software. If you want to build your own, it starts to be a bit more expensive, but never underestimate the cost of change, the time of change. It's never instant, and depending on the size of your company, it can take a few weeks or a few months. So verticalization, if you are in IT, in product engineering, customer support, in sales, data science, marketing, HR, account, finance, design, legal, you will need specialized additional tools on top of Copilot or OpenAI and so on. Because yes, you have like special needs, expert needs, and those tools are pretty generic. If we look at the most popular specialized tools usage now, it's code generation, support chatbot, enterprise search in your documentation, your own documentation. ChatGPT can ask for public information, but the dream will be, okay, I need to search in all my documents, in all our knowledge base, and this is what you can design with specialized tools. Data extraction and transformation, meeting summarization, copywriting, image generation, coaching, and so on. So you see, there is plenty for you. For example, let's say you have to reinvent customer survey and trend analysis. I've identified more than 80 platforms now leveraging generative AI to change the way you make market study, consumer study. So we will have to filter all of this, but those tools will save you time and money in the future. So be curious, test them, look into it. For accounting and finance, because we're in Luxembourg, of course, plenty of new tools. Only issue is most of them are still American, so sometimes it works only in English, sometimes it only works with US accounting, so be a bit cautious, look into them, but yeah, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2 years, we will have like the EU version of it, so it will come. And whether it's tax or audit or bookkeeping or process automation, there will be plenty of optimization, plenty of new tools to save you time on the admin work, where honestly the technology could do it better, faster, 24/7 compared to humans. Procurement, that's the same. You need to write an RFP, you need to look at different proposals. There will be tools assisting you in saving times, comparing maybe 20 different offers, or comparing the pricings, or even sometimes chatbot negotiating for the non-strategic purchase with some of your providers. Walmart is already using Pactum, a software to deal with maybe the 15-20% of the least strategic providers, to save time, to free time to humans for the big negotiation with Coca-Cola and Henkel or Mondelez and so on. Let's say you are in the legal business. There is tools for you. Gino Legal Tech, for example, let's say you have to look in your provider contracts. So Metro is using them, for example. They have 40,000 contracts. Just imagine if I ask you, okay, within those 40,000 contracts, find the one that will expire in 1 month. find the one where the GDPR mention is not up to date. So this is contract management with AI. Let's say you are a lawyer office. I don't know if you remember the TV series Suits. So there was Harvey, one of the key characters. So there is this Harvey platform now that will assist you and your lawyers to pre-write, pre-analyze existing law, existing regulation. It will even help you know in advance what is your percentage of chance of winning a case. So you are really super assisted by those tools. You still need a lawyer in the tribunal. You still need to proofread and control what has been pre-written, but it saves you time on scanning the existing regulation and so on. LexisNexis or GenAI for Lefebvre Dalloz, if you need to write any legal letters, it will really help you write something according to the existing regulation, existing cases, and you only ask your legal team to review it in the end. You don't come to them, okay, you have to do everything for me. So really saving you time, making things, I would say, way easier. For sales, that's the same. Just imagine you have to identify contacts. Just imagine you have not only to summarize the meeting, but analyze the meeting. Are they positive? Are they negative? What were the, I would say, critics during the meeting? Can you pre-write a response to the different critics of the meeting based on my knowledge base? Can I check that my team of sales have used the exact words and the exact arguments I wanted to use? You can do all of this with new tools. So it's pretty insane. One of them is Mojo, but you have Gong, you have many others. So you will have like cell-assisted people, so they waste less time in admin, filling up the CRM, and more time talking or meeting with a potential buyer. Recruitment and HR. What about making the first interview in your company with AI agent, with an AI avatar, instead of wasting your team's time? It looks maybe a bit weird, a bit fake, but it's what is already feasible. So this person doesn't exist. It's an AI agent. She will really be able to ask different questions, respond to the applicants. It might look a bit shocking, but think about it. Maybe it's better to use all your human capabilities for the second or third round and be more open, not select too much on resume in the beginning, be more open in the beginning. And do you need to use human people to check that people can speak English or speak fluently your language? No, maybe you can ask an AI to check that before. And don't worry, because the applicants themselves are getting equipped with AI. So for example, here, with finalround.ai, you fill everything about your resume, your past experience and everything. It will live listen to the interview, and it will pre-write for you the exact perfect answer based on your experience and resume to look really smart with the employer. So maybe next time have an interview in the office and not in video conference, because you don't know who is saying what and how applicants are using those kind of technology. If you are in IT and coding, there is so many tools that are improving so much in the past months that will help you proofread or correct your code, document your code, convert your code from one language to another. So you have GitHub Copilotics, Lovable, Cursor, highly popular platform. Right now in the US, in Silicon Valley, probably 90% of developers are at least using those tools, not only, but at least partially, to really save time on producing things. If you look at Claude, the competitor of ChatGPT, 80% of Claude code has been written by Claude, assisted by a developer or programmer or data scientist, but it will become the usage. And you have tools for the coding, but for the interface, for the application, there is so many new things happening every day. If you look at client support, so chatbot, callbot, there is so many different possibilities to save time. Is it not frustrating when you have to wait for someone to pick up at the hotline. Okay, your call is, we are all busy and then you have to wait 5, 10, 20 minutes to have someone. It's not frustrating when you are at the end of the day and your bank is only doing client support before 5 p.m. and not available 24/7. I know Luxembourg is a bit better on banking than we do in France, but still there is so many ways you can not maybe replace totally your client support, but assist or partially, I will say, compensate. So here I don't have the sound, I think, in the regie, but Call Me Newton, French company, they are doing call bots that could really discuss with you. And this is for tourism, for example. They can qualify your need, and then a salesperson will call you back, but he will have all the information, who you are, how many people, where do you want to go. So you can qualify so many information. Maybe you have purchased something, and you will have a call bot calling you one day before saying, do you remember tomorrow you have a delivery? Is your address correct? Will you be there at the right time? You know, nice service. Cost a few cents. Just imagine if you send a truck for nothing. The client forgot that it has to be delivered. You are wasting money. So there will be a lot of good usage. Of course, there will be a lot of salespeople with bots after you. So I'm sure this will be banned. But for servicing your existing customer, it will totally change the way we do client support. So here you just have the text. But if we had the voice, it's you know, before you had a robotic voice, it was slow, it was not feeling human, it was really unqualitative. Now it's better and better, and you nearly feel you are talking to a real person. In France, we have Doctolib, where we can book meeting with any, I will say, health professional. Now they have launched an assistant for the doctor. So when you are going to the doctor, it will record everything, all the notes. Because think about it, we have less and less doctors in France. They only have 12 minutes to speak with you. They have to check you. Just imagine if they have to take notes. They write very bad, by the way. So, you know, having these tools, everything will be recorded. You will have everything into the memory, and the doctor can only focus on the person and not on the notes and everything. In the banking and insurance business, there is so many use cases around generative AI. You know, client support, back office, front office, middle office, there is a lot of things that are feasible. Of course, you need to do it really carefully because we are talking about banking and insurance, lots of regulation, so not everything is feasible in Europe. And if you do, you need to make everything secure. You need to make sure everything works perfectly, but it's improving quite a lot. There are already ranking like this one, which is called Evident AI Index, where they are starting to rank globally all the banking players in the world based on their AI capabilities. Number of people in the IT and AI team, number of companies that have invested or purchased, number of AI, I will say, in their communication, topic in their communication and so on. So maybe banking and insurance is not the fastest, but they will go there, I will say, while taking measures to make sure it's secure enough, and it will change the cost of operating the client services and so on. So if we look at generative AI, in most companies we see 8 steps. We have trained more than 35,000 people in 2.5 years, probably more than 200 organizations, and this is what we learn. The first is we always start from the head. So we need to have a training of the executive committees that everybody is aligned that, okay, something is happening, we need to take this topic seriously. They are probably going to name a task force with IT, of course, but believe me, very often we forget to put HR into it, and HR needs to take part into the task force because we are going to change the way we organize tasks and processes and skills. So we need the HR to be part of the AI team. Then we look at use cases, you know, okay, there is so many possibilities. Where do we start? Then we'll have a proof of concept. We'll do different tests. We'll train managers and employees to help them understand, you know, what are the risks, what are the limits, what are the opportunities, what are the new tools, what are the changes we want to deploy. And then the hardest part is specific proof of concept, the verticalization of AI. We need to have specialized use case, not for all, but for every department. So here it's a bit more work. What will have been successful into the test, we will deploy, and of course we'll be supporting the few jobs that will be more impacted, maybe translation, client support, maybe accounting and legal in the future, believe me. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, to be frank, we are more talking about artificial assistance. There is no AI that will replace a full job now, maybe in the future. For now, it's more superpower, super tools for existing people. You need to prompt. The machine is not doing it instead of you. Okay, what's coming next? Agentic AI. So it's nice to be assisted for a prompt, but wouldn't it be better if we could automatically deploy a whole process with different steps and different tasks? So if we look at generative AI models, the most recent one are able to reason. So they are able first to challenge your prompt, say, okay, your prompt is nice, but are you talking B2C, B2B? Are you talking Luxembourg? Are you talking in the future? So they help you redefine your request to make it smarter. And they are able, when we say think, it's maybe a bit too much, but at least to define different steps. So they will choose a number of steps to achieve your, I would say, challenge. Even in China, we have new models using reasoning. We are slowly arriving to what we call AI agents. So what's the difference between ChatGPT and AI agents? AI agents, you can define when they start. ChatGPT or Copilot, you have to prompt, right? So let's say, for example, you want an agent to summarize your email from the night. You can say, every morning at 7 a.m., I want you to summarize every email. So you can define when they start, or you can say, every time I have more than 50 customer support tickets, do something. Then they have memory. If you are in Copilot or OpenAI, you have to always explain, I'm working for a Luxembourg British bank, I'm in the finance department. Here you can set up a context for this agent. Then he is able to reason and take decision within, let's say, limits, but you can define how many steps and so on. He has access to tools, so he can interact with SAP, Salesforce, kind of like API. He can interact with different tools, and he can analyze and improve on what he has been doing. So basically, an agent is still powered by generative AI. You give it a goal. Okay, I have to launch a campaign, for example. It chooses the tools in service of its goal and decide for itself when to stop. So it will define the steps, it will define how many of them, it will define when it feels it's done. So if I take an example in marketing, normally in marketing you use GenAI tools for research. You use GenAI tools for brainstorming. One to design the content, one to schedule the content, one to analyze the performance of the content. In the future, you will have a marketing AI agent that will do every step of the way for you. You will just have to give him a brief at the beginning, and he will analyze your market, brainstorm for ideas, write the campaign, design the campaign, publish the campaign, and analyze the results of the performance. So suddenly, we are moving from one task to a whole process that you will be whether assisted with or sometimes that will be fully automated without even people during the process. And your job, yes, you will still have a job, will be to supervise, first to train this agent, and then to supervise this agent, a bit like someone new in your team. You will have augmented people with AI, and you will have like AI agents working on different processes. In ChatGPT, you have what we call the GPTs. So if you go on the top left of the navigation, you have GPTs. It's like an app store. You can record, I will say, prompt for reuse. So you can train this prompt with a reference document. And those prompts that you recorded, you can make them public, or you can keep them for you or your team. And it's very easy to turn a lot of process into GPTs. So for example, I have a GPTs for my salespeople. Every time they go for a lunch, they just type the name of the client and it will come up with, this is the company, this is the activity, this is the day of creation, this is the number of employees, this is the topic you should talk about during the lunch or meeting based on our offer. So really saving your time. Instead of re-prompting everything from start, you save those prompts, turning into a GPT, which is like a basic agent. This is our latest book. I'm lazy, so I'm using AI. So sometimes, I get interview. When it's human, I go for it. But when sometimes it's by email, I can ask a question to my GPT that has all my book as a reference, and it will pre-write for me the answer. Of course, I will recheck them, but it's saving me quite a lot of time. So once again, you can give him references, documentation, and so on to save you time. In the US, you probably know Moderna, I would say, health company. They have turned 400 processes into GPTs. From R&D to marketing to legal, they took all their processes, turned them into GPTs, put them like in a GPT store, and every department can, okay, you are HR and you do recruitment, use the GPT for the interview. You are in legal and you need to write out a contract, use a contract maker GPTs that will follow your rules, your regulation, and so on. So you're really making those jobs way easier. You will have the video in my slides. Of course, there is not only ChatGPT. Now, Google has launched Gemini Gems and Gemini Agents. Microsoft is announcing Copilot Agents. Salesforce is announcing Agentforce. IBM is announcing Orchestrate. So there will be a lot of different possibilities to design your agents. But there will be a lot of different agents too. So it will be quite a lot of benchmarking to pick up the right solution. For example, search and analysis agents. You need to analyze the market, you need to analyze the topic. If you go on Gemini, on ChatGPT, Perplexity, and so on, you will look within the prompt box. Underneath, there is deep search, or recherche avancée. Instead of giving you straight away an answer, it will challenge your prompt, and then for 10 minutes, it will operate. It will go on the internet, look at website, look at white paper, look at studies, look at PDF, summarize everything, and then come up with a 2 or 3 pages long analysis like a junior consultant, basically. So once again, you are outsourcing. Here it's a specialized research analyst on the shelves available on those platforms. There is, I would say, agents that will be able to browse the internet, shop for you, or book something for you, or even operate other software. So if we look at PayPal and Visa and MasterCard, they are designing right now shopping agents that will do your purchasing for you. So you are going to pocket money to your agents and say, okay, every week you have to do grocery shopping, I don't care. You know how many we are in the household, do it for me, I don't care anymore. But it's going to be a bit different if you are Cactus or Carrefour or Auchan and you are selling to an agent and not to real people on your e-commerce website. Those agents you will be able to connect with different workflow. So we have Copilot, we have Salesforce, we have Google, but just before AI happened, we already had basic automation with N8 or Make or Zapier, where you can connect different tools together, create rules, create automation, and now you can put AI on top of it. Maybe for big companies, they might have issue with security, but if you are a middle or small firm, honestly, it works pretty well. If you are an independent, it works super well. It's super easy to use. And you can really, for example, design a whole campaign. You can define every step of the way you want. And now you will be able to connect those agents to external software, external tools. So one of the standards is called MCP, Model Context Protocol. It has been launched last Christmas by Anthropic, but now it has been adopted by OpenAI, Microsoft, Salesforce, Google, and everyone. It's a bit like an API. You will be able to connect your generative AI, your agent, to external tools. Let's say, for example, I want to use Blender. Blender is a very complicated 3D software. It takes 2 years to learn it. No problem. I connected Claude to Blender, and now I can say, okay, make a scene in Blender where a dragon is standing next to a pot of gold. it will take the control of Blender like a super macro, and it will do everything for me. And it will generate the thing in 3D. So just imagine if tomorrow I have an MCP for SAP, for Excel, for PowerPoint. He will do the work. I will tell him what to do. I'm the manager. He will assist me in mastering the software and doing exactly what I need, knowing all the little technical stuff. So you will probably, in most of the companies in Luxembourg, use Copilot Agent Studio because, yeah, in many companies, we're in the Microsoft world or the Google world. So there will be quite a lot of possibilities. So from Teams, you will call those agents, and maybe you will have an agent for customer support, an agent for legal, and so on. So I have a look into that. And what the benefit of generative AI and agentic AI, it will make you so much more efficient and faster. In the US, they have what they call 10x people that are really way more smart and way smarter and way more efficient. And if you look at Midjourney, for example, they went from 0 to 500 million annual revenue, recurring revenue, with 40 people. Why? Because they are leveraging generative AI. They are leveraging agents to make those people 10x more, I would say, efficient, faster, and profitable. If you look at Lovable, they are making 30 million in 2 years with 18 people. If you look at Magnifique, 10 million annual revenue with 2 people. So if you don't upgrade yourself and your company, you will have to compete with those kind of super lean startup, leveraging AI to their core and being more, I would say, efficient and more profitable. What will happen when AI agents will be doing the shopping, you know? Is it your own agent? Is it Amazon agent? Maybe with some interest from Amazon? Is it, you know, who is going to master the shopping and the data? What happens when your audience are AI agents, you know? You are working on your visuals, your banner, your UX, but what's the point? If tomorrow my shopping agent is talking with the selling agents from the company and I don't know what they do, but they connect together. And to finish with, physical AI. AI will escape the internet. AI is coming after you. Remember Terminator? It will come in robots, it will come in cars, it will come in defense, in health, in energy, in your house. It will be everywhere. If you look at physical AI, based on NVIDIA latest figures, 1.5 billion commercial camera, 10 million factories, 200,000 warehouses, 1.5 billion cars and trucks that could be automated, and humanoid robots. So if we look at robots, for years it was more machines than humanoid robots. But suddenly in the past 12, 24 months, we have been seeing an acceleration. More than 70 companies are designing humanoid robots. Sometimes for warehouse, like Atlas from Boston Dynamics that belongs to Hyundai now. And you see, it's more and more precise. It's smaller and smaller. Because of the battery now, it doesn't need a plug anymore. It's more and more precise on what it's achieving or able to manipulate. So maybe in the warehouse, but maybe with your grandparents in the retirement home, you will have robots too. Not for everything, but for part of the task and the job. Question will be, when is human intelligence going to be more expensive than artificial intelligence? When should we assist humans and when should we replace humans? And when should we certainly not? That's ethical question. Robotaxi, you have probably heard a lot about Google Waymo. It has been commercially launched last July in San Francisco, now in Vegas, now in LA. And basically, you call it like a Uber. Nobody's on top of it. They took 40% of Uber market share in just a few months. They are doing 150,000 drives a week. So it's really happening. Not in Europe because of regulation, but in the US and in China. In China, there is more than 7 robotaxi companies operating now. And even Amazon is arriving with Zoox. So Zoox is their shuttle coming next year. And basically, you can transport 4 people into it. We have Tesla and his RoboCab, only 2 seats. It will be launched. We never know exactly when with Elon, but it will happen. And just think about it. For years and years and years, the cost per mile on personally owned vehicle was the same. Suddenly, if we can divide it by 2 or 3, what will happen, for example, to goods transportation and truck driving? This is Gatix. They are operating for the past 3 years with Kroger and Walmart. You have a driver for a week, and after a while, the truck become independent. It's on pre-forecasted journey, not last mile delivery, more between the warehouse and the supermarket. And there are 150,000 truck driver jobs missing in not filled in the US. So it's not replacing job, it's replacing empty spots. So here you can see that there is nobody in the truck. It's operating autonomously, and it will totally change the way the cost of delivering, the business model of e-commerce. A lot of things will be changing. So drone delivery. This is Matron arriving in Dubai. Instead of delivering in your garden, it will deliver in lockers. Basically, this is opening, and your package will be in the locker, and you can come 2, 3, 4 hours later. It's protected. This is Zipline in the US. This is a test, but they have been operating for years in Rwanda for long delivery for hospital. Now they are moving into retail delivery. So you are Walmart, you are a pharmacy, you put your things in the shuttle. The shuttle is moving back into the drone. The drone will go and deliver it to your place. The drone doesn't have to land, so no danger with the drones. No energy consumption to land and to start again. And it's already happening in the US. It's still a test, but it will happening pretty fast. So yes, AI will change even more. I am sure you can see it at Nexus. Healthcare, energy, defense. We already had 1 hour, so I could not present everything. So to conclude, so many possibilities. We don't know exactly how the future will look like, but it will be different. Not on everything, so it's where it's tough. If you are a plumber or hairdresser, to be frank, I'm not sure in 5 years a lot of things will have changed because of AI. But specific tasks in different jobs will change a lot. So the question for you is, technology is the answer, but what the question? There is lots of possibilities. You need to find the right, I would say, quick win, where you can deploy or use AI. You need to learn faster and act faster than the competition. Maybe not be the first, but don't be the last. Things are accelerating quite a lot. And if you want to download the slides, because I know I was fast and there was quite a lot, you have a QR code. Feel free to scan it or connect on LinkedIn. I will be delighted to exchange with you. And I'm here for the rest of the day. So come and have a coffee with me. I will be delighted to exchange. Thanks a lot, and have a nice rest of the day at Nexus.